Well, Maggie Connors is set to make her senior national team debut for Canada in a rivalry series against the U.S. Game 5 of the series is set for Wednesday. The 24-year-old from St. John's is a forward for Toronto in the newly formed Professional Women's Hockey League, and she's the second youngest player in the league. One of her performance highlights so far, scoring this first career goal and assist against Montreal.
She scores! Maggie Connors has been waiting for her moment. And what a first PWHL goal for the pride of Newfoundland.
And Maggie Connors joins me now from Toronto. Thanks so much for being here.
Of course, thanks so much for having me.
Well, what a moment, Maggie. What was it like when you first scored that goal?
Yeah, obviously you have so many emotions kind of running through your head, especially, I came right off the bench and just kind of skated into the O-zone, and kind of the puck popped free from one of my teammates, Becca, who was kind of falling and was just able to pass it to me. And, I just saw a lane to the net and I shot it. And I think obviously props goes to Jessie and Renata Fast, who gave me 2 screens in front of the net. Obviously, when you're shooting against the best goal in the world in Renee Desbiens, you have to find a way to score when it's just more than a shot. And when it's your first pro goal, obviously in the moment you kind of black out, you don't really think about that, but when you get back to the bench and your teammates are kind of celebrating and congratulating you, it hits you. But yeah, it was an awesome moment.
It's been a month since you played that historic first PWHL game, making you a professional hockey player. How does that feel? And did you ever think this day would come?
Yeah, I mean, I've said this past month has obviously felt like years almost. It's been so much fun, and there's been so much that's happened in the past month, and this league has really taken off. And I think obviously the sky's the limit. And I think when you're younger, you hope something like this will kind of come into fruition, but you're not quite sure if it will. And that's obviously why, people say they want to play in the NHL when they're younger and they're girls, and they don't necessarily say this, but I think now that's changed. And especially after January 1st and all the emotions and everything that went into that day, and you have young players that have retired, it means so much to everyone. So obviously to be a part of that day, it was awesome. But, now that I'm not quite sure, I thought of it when I was younger, if this was gonna happen. But now that it has, I think it's just great for young girls that they can say that they want to play in this league, and that's what makes it awesome.
For sure. And the cameras, they often pan to the seats, and we see the young girls in the stands in hockey jerseys cheering. What has it been like for you hearing from fans? What have they been saying to you?
Yeah, I mean, the support has been astronomical. It's been so nice. And I try to thank people as much as I can for all the support, especially from Newfoundland. Like, I see it every day, people reaching out, people talking to my family members. It's been obviously amazing. And, fans, and you look in the stands and you see signs and things, and, fans are just like super excited. They're super excited to be there. They're super excited for the league. And I think more importantly, they're super excited that this exists so that they can maybe play in it one day. You look in the stands and it all says, future PWHL hockey player. And I think that's obviously, a huge part of why we play, and obviously kind of why we're trying to make this league take off, is because, again, you don't know where this is going to be in 15, 20 years, but those girls in the stands, I think, are going to be in the league. And so, there's been nothing but positive feedback so far.
I've heard people say that they're surprised by, the speed and the physicality of the games, that the women, they're not holding anything back. Do you feel that on the ice?
Yeah, totally. I've definitely taken some obviously huge shots, and obviously that's okay. I think I put myself in those positions sometime. Obviously, this is the first month of the league, and so no one truly could have told you what it would have been like, or everyone knew it was going to be fast. Everyone knew it was going to be physical, but I think the game that we've put on the table so far has exceeded those expectations. And I think obviously the physicality is just a part of the game, and obviously people want that to stay. And it's definitely a little bit of a change, college. I feel like they called out more penalties than they do here, and a little bit different style of hockey. But everyone's adjusting, and it's just a few games into the season as of now, and so I think people are gonna kind of learn how to play within that style. But I know obviously players love it so far, and it's definitely a fast game. But I think just as much as the players love it, the fans love it too. And I think that's most important, is that we're presenting an exciting game to the world.
And you've been selected to play in the upcoming rivalry series. Can you talk about what that series is and why those games are different?
So 3 times throughout the year, there's what they call is a tire rivalry series. They did 2 games in November, 2 games in December, and now 3 in the beginning of February. So 7 games total, and it's just between the U.S. national team and the Canadian national team. They just go head-to-head, best of 7 game series, and they select a team for each of those series, somewhat similar. They kind of change out a few players depending on the team that they're looking for, and then in April is the World Championship. So it's obviously separate from the PWHL, but I'm pretty sure all the players on that team play in the PWHL, at least for this series. So yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I think anytime you get to wear the maple leaf, or anytime you get to represent your country, is a huge honor. And so to be selected to that, I take a lot of pride in it, and I'm really excited.
And I also want to ask you about men's hockey. Men's hockey has been dominating the headlines, and unfortunately, it hasn't been good. There are sexual assault charges laid against several players. But I'm wondering if you think the rise of women's professional hockey, that push for inclusivity in the sport, do you think that could help change the culture in men's hockey?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of obviously can't speak to obviously what's going on the men's side of things for that Hockey Canada thing, but I know at least I can talk about kind of our league, and I think our league is obviously incredibly inclusive and in trying to push the boundaries, and trying to be obviously a great league that kind of represents obviously inclusivity.
Well, Maggie Connors, I really appreciate you speaking with us. It's lovely to talk to you. Your next game is this Saturday night against Minnesota. So good luck with that game and with the rivalry series. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.